Trump has his biggest lead yet in North Carolina. Ted Cruz is in second and Marco Rubio's in third, and nobody else is in double digits. And it's sort of been an interesting trend for Trump in North Carolina. When we found Trump leading the field in North Carolina in July, that was the very first poll anywhere in the country that had Trump leading anywhere. So North Carolina really has sort of been at the forefront of Trump's success. But what's pretty remarkable is that first poll in July when he was in the lead, he had 16%. He has increased his support every single poll we've done over the last 6 months in North Carolina. It just keeps ticking up and up and up, now to the point where he's almost at 40%. So rather than getting weaker as primary date approaches, he's actually just gotten stronger and stronger.
And has anyone in North Carolina, ask it that way, emerged other than Trump or Cruz? I mean, is there a so-called mainstream Republican candidate who the voters of North Carolina seem to like?
Not really. You see Rubio and Bush each sort of just hovering around 10%, well back of both Trump and Cruz. So this is a situation, something we've been gaming out as what would happen if it was just Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, perhaps, by the time it gets to North Carolina. Even then, Rubio's still very much left in the dust. So it looks pretty unlikely that North Carolina is going to be a state where the establishment does well.
What about on the Democratic side?
The Democratic side, Hillary Clinton still has a very substantial lead over Bernie Sanders in the state, and the key is just African-American voters. She is getting about 75% of them. Sanders is only at around 10%, and that sort of speaks to the interesting transformation that's going to happen in the Democratic race after Iowa and New Hampshire. Across the board, and particularly here in North Carolina, the race is relatively competitive with white Democrats, but then when you look at African-Americans and Latinos, Hillary Clinton's dominant. The reason Bernie Sanders is doing so well in Iowa and New Hampshire is that the electorate's completely white. Those are states that really play to his strengths. But when you get to South Carolina and then further on to North Carolina and the other southern states, Hillary Clinton's really going to have a pretty substantial advantage because of her strength with African Americans.